How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to the Enclave. So we are moving on today with our handgun theory book. I do want to just say before we start, I apologize that this has taken so long. I did actually do a 40-minute sort of overview of this book in a hurry last week, and between load shedding and the video needing to take 3 hours odd to upload, there was no way that I was physically capable of uploading it. So I decided anyway, we're gonna do it right. So let us begin with Module 1, Law. Now, we're not going to cover this for every book. I will refer back to this video for the other books because it's all the same. So, everything that is in this section has pretty much been covered before, but I do just want to go over a few things just to clear some stuff up, just to make sure that everything is peachy pie. So on page 7 we have search and seizure. It's about halfway down the page. So this actually goes against what I said in my blue lights video. Now I do just want to stress, the information in that blue lights video, like I say, goes against this. You will supposedly be committing a crime for obstructing a police officer in fulfilling his duties on the reasonable belief that the firearm you possess is not licensed. Now, yeah. So, for your test, you absolutely want to know that what it says in the book is law, okay? I shouldn't have done that. It's law, period. You absolutely do need to surrender your firearm and or license for inspection when it comes to things like roadblocks and whatnot. Where that information is incorrect is when you bring it into the real world. Now, I was told by the people who trained me, by police that I've seen online on interviews and things talking about blue lights robberies, they instruct you to do what I instructed you to do, which is why I instructed you to do it. Now, yes, there is information here that directly contradicts that. But, like I said, in the real world, once again, depending on where you are, if you're in a safe place and it's one of those massive roadblocks where they've got the van, they've got numerous officers, etc., obviously there, make your firearm safe, hand it to the officer. Grand schemes, you're not going to be at much risk in that situation. What I'm talking about specifically is driving down the R59, for instance, at 2 o'clock in the morning and some mysterious GTI pulls you over for doing absolutely nothing. Those are more the situations I was referring to where you need to play hardball and get to a police station, and do not be doing anything on the side of the road in those situations. I stand by that information, as I'm sure the people who informed me of it stand by it. So, that is pretty much that. So, the next section we're going on to is on page 8. It is the self-defense or private defense. And this section is going to most likely, I think you got a 50-50 shot. I think 2 of the tests have it and 2 of the tests don't, from what I've been able to see. Everyone, okay, so we're basically going down here to section 10. You'll see it on the screen there, section 10. So, 10.1. Everyone has the right to life. That's 1 mark right there. If you do not fill in the word life, you've lost 1 mark right there, including a criminal. And that unfortunately is true. until they have threatened your life or the life of someone or a third party that you have a legal interest in protecting, they have a right to life too. So bear that in mind with things like trespassing, etc. You cannot headshot a perp for trespassing. That is highly illegal. In fact, even using a firearm in that situation is illegal. So 10.1, everyone has the right to life. Okay. All persons are presumed innocent until found guilty by a competent court or tribunal. Everyone has the right, and this is important, to human dignity, equality, and freedom. Okay, very important. If you look at this so far, life, innocent, guilty, dignity, equality, freedom. Everyone has the right to own property. Okay, so far we have 7 marks, guys, in one little section. Just in section 10, you can fail your test. That is just the straightforward, blunt, honest truth of it. If you do not know section 10 of module 1 law in your firearms manuals, you have a 50% chance of failing your test. So just bear that in mind, okay? Bear in mind the words that I've emphasized. I will potentially have popped them on the screen as well. Those are very, very important. And then we're going to move slightly down to section 12, which is at the bottom of the page here, which is requirements for use of lethal force. Once again, very, 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 very important, okay? Once again, 3 marks you can lose on your test if you do not know this section 12. And this is not going to be in the legal section of your test, your knowledge of section 60. This is going to be in the actual pamphlet, I suppose, that you fill in for the actual firearm section. So this, even after you've completed your initial competency for handgun, for example, when you move on to things like this, you will still need to know that information for the test for the big boy guns, okay? So just bear in mind. There must be an attack against you, a third party whom you are trying to protect from such an attack, and an attack must be unlawful. Okay, so the most important piece there is actually the last little bit. Must be unlawful. That is all you're going to need for your test. So what they will most likely ask you is to list the criteria for lawful self-defense or for use of lethal force, sorry. So what you can say there is the attack must be unlawful. Point 2, the attack must be against person, i.e. threat to life, not property. That is number 2. So you could say threat to life, not property. So we have must be unlawful, threat to life, not property, and finally the attack must be about to start or already have begun. That is simple. You could say attack must be underway or about to start. Easy peasy. Those are the 3 things you can list out there for 3 easy marks on your test. Let us just make sure there is... Yeah, okay. So, this is something that was explained to me by my instructor before my tests. And both I and the other person taking the test at that point argued with this. And I will explain to you why it is correct. Okay, so basically in scenario, let me just confirm, scenario 3, which we're going to go into shortly. Basically, the attackers are in your home. They are armed. But you are 10 meters away behind a security gate. So I'm just going to assume they've gotten in your front door, but your bedroom, or for instance, the passage to your bedroom, has a security gate on it. So now they are on the opposite side of that security gate, but they are inside of your home. They are stealing your property, destroying your property, whatever the case may be. Now, in that situation, you may not fire shots at them. Even if you see they are armed, even if you feel threatened. Now, why is this? I disagree. The person who was with me, who, funny story we might get into at some point, was actually a doctor of mine many years ago. But anyway, small world. So in that situation, we come down to section 13.2, which is on the following page, page 9. You could not use any other means to avoid the attack. For example, flight is better than fight. Remember, if you can avoid the use of force, you have the legal obligation to do so. Now, what does that mean in the situation that I've already laid out? What you need to do in that scenario, if possible. Now here's where things are a bit different for me, because it's not possible for me. But if it's possible for you to escape through a back door, to potentially escape through a back window, to hide in a stronger room behind something like a security gate and potentially close the door so they can't see where you are in the room, and then call the police, that is what you need to do. You need to avoid conflict at all times. Now this goes against my principles in many ways, because what they're basically legally instructing you to do is sit in your bedroom while who knows how many people with firearms or knives or whatever clean out all your possessions. Now, if you guys remember correctly, everyone has the right to own property. There we go. Which means that by this book's ruling, I don't have to just sit there and allow people to take my property. Which then puts you in a little bit of a dodgy situation. Are you going to confront them? At which point they may threaten your life, at which point you could use self-defense. That is not correct. That is not something you should do. It is not something I advocate doing. But for me, it is the situation I would have to put myself in. And believe me, I am already looking at all the angles of my home, trying to figure out where the corners need to be cut, where, like, you know how to slice the pie, where to do that, when to do that, how to get the angles on the entry point. Because I only have one entry point. I have one way in and one way out. So if someone comes in, my life is in danger immediately. Obviously they need to have a weapon on them, but without disclosing the full orientation of my little flat here, once you're in, you're about this far from my head. So once you've busted down my security gates, you've gone through 3 other gates, and you've entered my door, my life is in danger and I will kill you. That is just a fact. That because you have by that point demonstrated plenty will to be doing more than just getting into a property. So for me, a little bit different, but if you have a property, for instance, like my wife, they actually do have internal security. I don't. My property is not big enough to have internal security. If I were to put an internal secured gate in my home, I would lose like the only walkway that I actually have. So yeah. Anyways, bit of a different story in the house in the front. There we have numerous levels of security. But anyways, so that is pretty much that. I just wanted to clear up section 3. And then yeah, we move on to using the vehicle as a weapon, which I'll be honest, before reading this book didn't actually know that was legal. I didn't know it was legal to, if someone was hijacking you, run them over and kill them. I genuinely didn't know that was legal, but hey, maybe this is news to you guys too. Someone tries to hijack you and they're in front of your car, mow them down like a blade of grass. This book tells you to do so. And make sure the job's done. Maybe back up a few times. You know, make sure they're not going to stand up and shoot through the back of your car. I actually saw, my wife and I, we were driving down the highway the other day past Gold Reef City. And we saw a beautiful white X4. And upon closer inspection, right around the badge area, there were 2 bullet holes. And then about 30 centimeters down, just below the license plate, there was a 3rd bullet hole. Like, if you can run down someone trying to hijack you, do it. If you could shoot someone trying to hijack you, do it. Don't let them shoot you in the back, because I can tell you now, be it an X4, be it an X5, be it if you are not driving a 540i protection, which has bulletproof windows, do not believe that just driving away is going to save your life. Now, it is the responsible thing to do to flee, but once someone has threatened your life, I advocate finishing it. That is just my opinion. It also appears to be predominantly the opinions of these books and the law that supports them. If someone threatens your life, end theirs. That is pretty much where we're going to end it today. I hope you all enjoyed the first section of this book. I'm probably going to actually manage to get this all done today, so we will get it uploaded over the next couple of days. As always, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Remember, we do stream on Twitch every Tuesday and Thursday. Saturdays, we'll see, but guaranteed Tuesdays and Thursdays we will be streaming on twitch.tv/EnclaveZA at 8 p.m. As always, check out the annotations at the end here. If you've got time for another video, please feel free to click on through, and thanks so much for watching. Peace out.